Hello and welcome everyone to the Difference Maker Show. I'm Lynn Sanders, your host, and I am excited to have you here today. Our guest is an American actress, Carolyn Grimes, who started as young as 6 months old and was featured in 16 different films as a child, most notably the 1946 Frank Capra classic, It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. Carolyn played the role of Zuzu with her famous last line, which I'm sure she'd be happy to share with you. And she also played the role of Debbie in the film The Bishop's Wife. But beyond that, Carolyn really learned a number of challenging lessons growing up in childhood, and she's here to share her backstory, the story behind the story, as well as her own tips and ideas of how to have a wonderful life, because she's a wonderful person, and I'm so glad and honored to know her. Welcome, Carolyn. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. That was pretty glorious that you're talking there about me.
Thank you. Well, I was so impressed by your background. So I just wanted you to reflect first for our listeners of what it felt like to be a child in some of these most amazing films. What was it like first to be in the film It's a Wonderful Life? Do you remember what it felt like?
Well, I'd already done four films before I did It's a Wonderful Life. I was 6 years old. I started in the movies when I was four. So it was like a normal day. You walk
Mhm.
out the door and you go work. And that's all I ever knew when I was growing up as a child. My mother was one of those stage moms, and she gave me every lesson that was possible. And back in the day, in when I was born in 1940, I'm ancient. Um, Hollywood was the movie industry, and that was pretty much it. It was all the movie industry. So all the mothers had their little kids get signed up with an agent and get all kinds of classes. I had dancing, singing, elocution, diction, piano, violin. I mean, I had everything. She did it all. And so then she took me to see an agent, and it was a pretty famous agent. She pretty much handled all the kids in Hollywood during that time. And she took me to see her and she liked me and she sent me on some interviews and I got some parts and that's how it all got started.
Wow. Well, do you remember, any special moments that you had behind the scenes with any of the actors who you work with?
Oh, most every movie, things like that happened. With The Bishop's Wife,
Yeah, I love that film. Uh-huh.
it's a good film. Cary Grant, David Nevin, and Loretta Young, they were biggies. And Cary Grant, he really liked kids. And he would read me stories. And there's a story behind this that there were some hard feelings on the set between the adults
Oh,
because they had been shooting The Bishop's Wife, and the head of the studio came down and he looked at it and he said he felt like he didn't like it, so he fired the director. And
oh,
at that time, in his adaptation of the story, David Nevin was the angel, and Cary Grant, he was the preacher man.
oh my
So,
goodness. Yeah.
so different. And David Nevin liked his part. And when they hired a brand new uh, director, Henry Coster was his name. He was a brilliant man, and he changed the characters. He changed, David Nevin to the preacher man, and
Right.
Cary Grant was the angel. So there were some hard feelings between the two of those during the making of the movie. So Cary Grant just kind of stuck around with me, and he enjoyed children. He loved children, and so it was really great. And then he'd come and get me every day at noon during lunch, and he would practice his ice skating because there really was a rink
Yeah.
on the stage. and he'd pull me around on a sled. So he was great.
Wow. Wow, that's wonderful. I would
Yeah,
recommend,
all of them were so nice.
yeah. Well, you're very nice and you were great in the movie too. Just very sweet. And you could feel the love coming from, I think, from Cary Grant when he related to you in the movie. Just,
Well, he was a good actor too. He was really good. Well, everybody I have worked with was a good actor or
you
act.
know. So
I was
so
very
tell
lucky.
us, people don't know what challenges actors and actresses go through, and you certainly had a number of them. In fact, I learned later, more recently, that you never even saw A Wonderful Life till you were an adult. You never saw how the ultimate film turned out. So, what happened that pulled you away from Hollywood?
Well, my father didn't particularly approve of the lifestyle in Hollywood. And so he wasn't really excited for me to be in the movies. So when I got to that age where I was too old or too young for a part, I didn't fit, he decided that we were done. So that's the way it went. And because my mother was very ill and she had started getting sick when I was 8, and she had Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's. And it wasn't diagnosed as that back then, but in reflection, we know that that's what she had. So my dad just, he let me live a normal kid life after about 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mother died when I was 14. And
I'm
then
sorry.
a year later, my father got killed in a car accident. So it was devastating for me.
Yeah, were
But
you an only child, Carolyn?
I was an only child, yeah.
So you had no one else, siblings to talk with. So what happened after that?
Well, my father had a brother in Missouri in a little town. And so they stepped up, and his his wife and my uncle drove out to LA, put me and my little chihuahua in their car, and drug me back to a town called Osceola, Missouri. There were such a small population. It was like 600 people. And
Wow.
there have been 600 people in my high school. I went to LA High. I mean, it was like that I come to the end of the world. I was I was definitely traumatized because of whole different life, entirely different life.
Yeah.
And to top it off, my aunt was really mean and she did really bad things to me. So the whole town knew what kind of a woman she was. And the little town, they knew. So, it took about a year, but the merchants, my teachers, the people at the grocery store, everybody, they really made it a point to make my life kind of good and to care about me. And it was really a changing point in my life because that's when I realized there were real people out there. Because in Hollywood, it's a bit shallow.
Really.
Uh, I don't know. People put on a front in
Hmm.
Hollywood, and they're very shallow people for the most part. Uh, Back then, today I don't know. Today is crazy out there,
Yeah.
but back then it was just a different way of life. So I ended up in this little town, and it was great. After a year, I had adjusted, and I loved my friends, and I thought it was really great. And I ended up graduating from high school, going to college, and I became a laboratory technician.
Wow.
So I worked in the medical field for about 20 years. And then, I got married, had kids, and went through the usual things that people do. and and that was pretty much a calm life for the most part. And but my first husband, well, I had two girls with him, and he was he was killed deer hunting.
Oh my.
And so we went on with life, and it, I loved his parents, and it was really good. At that time, I was working as a med tech, and so I had my kids and that, and eventually I married someone else. He had three kids, I had two, and then we had two together. So I raised quite a hassle bunch of kids.
7 children. Wow.
Yeah. So that was, we were married for about 25 years, and then he died of cancer. So it was a, a wonderful opportunity for me to learn about raising kids. And I got involved with my kids' school, and they were Catholic schools. So we started, I started volunteering for what they have every year, a fundraiser garage sale, supposedly.
Hmm.
It was huge, huge at both the girls' school and the boys' schools. And so I got interested in antiques by doing.
Really?
Yeah, then the antiques were a huge part of my life for many years. I became a dealer and I did antique shows. It was great. I love antiques.
I do
But
too.
then COVID came along, and I didn't do that anymore after COVID. So, they antiques sort of came out of fashion. And so I don't do that anymore. But I sure love doing that.
So you really have had quite a variety of industries that you've worked in. I wanted to ask you about your reconnection with Jimmy Stewart as an adult. Where did that fit in along the life spectrum of what you were doing? That he looked for you, he wanted to find you, and where was that in your timeline? How did he
Well,
find you?
it was before my husband died, and he found he had a lot of people that were saying, "Whatever happened to that little kid?"
Hmm.
And so, because by that time, It's a Wonderful Life was really popular.
Hmm.
And I never even saw the movie till 1980.
That's
So,
unbelievable.
and
What
I
all those.
regret that. I regret it terribly because had I seen it, it would have become a tradition in my home as I was raising my kids. But by the time I saw it, they were pretty well raised, and some were gone. So
But still.
I discovered the film when I was 40. So that gave me a real jump in the arm, I guess you might say. But people had asked Mr. Stewart where that little girl was. And so he had a couple of secretaries, and he had one of them call me. They found me in the middle of Kansas, and there I was. And so he started forwarding fan mail he'd get from me. And we were friends. And then I didn't see him until 1990, I think it was. And there was a function in New York where he was being honored as a best man, and
Mhm.
all of his leading ladies were invited. So I came.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was a wonderful, wonderful time. Oh my gosh, they honored him in so many ways, and he was there with his leading ladies of through the years. So
Hmm.
it's really a wonderful time. We had a really special time there. And then after that,
What was Donna Reed there? Your
no, she was not there.
she wasn't there. But what
No.
can you tell us? What did he say to you, or what was the feeling to reconnect with
He
him?
came down this big stairway in the hotel. He was staying at the Peninsula Hotel in New York, and he came down the staircase. And I thought he was taller, even taller. He just was so skinny, and here it made him look taller, I thought. So he came downstairs, and I said, "This is Zuzu grown up." And
Mm.
he said, "My little Zuzu." He was
Oh,
as sweet as he could be.
that's
And
nice.
of course, he stutter bit because he really did stutter.
I see. I didn't know that.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like oh, Karolyn, or he'd say, "Well, let's go," that kind of
Hmm.
thing. A little bit of a stutter, but he was a remarkable man. Of course, his wife was there with him, and I got to meet her,
Yeah.
and it was really a wonderful time.
So, did you have any inkling during your time away from acting that you wanted to do something to reconnect with fans or to do acting again? Did any of that cross your mind?
No,
Interesting.
no, shallow world, shallow,
Yeah.
shallow. You have to step on people.
Really?
It's anywhere you do, and there's no there's no respect sometimes,
That's a
and
shame.
it's not the kind of life that I would ever have wanted to continue with.
Yeah. Well, I also know that you've been involved there's an ongoing festival that many people don't know about. So you have some connection with your fans through this Seneca Falls event. It's a Wonderful Life. Seneca Falls, New York is where people believe that the town was really based upon in It's a Wonderful Life. Tell us about that experience and what you've been doing at this yearly festival.
Well, first I will preface that by saying after I discovered It's a Wonderful Life
Hmm.
in 1980, then it seemed like the doors opened and people started asking me to speak at various functions and do,
Hmm.
represent the film. And so during the 80s, I still was raising kids, but I did a lot of appearances and I had a lot of fun and it was really great. Then when it got to be in the 90s, in 1993, the Target company for Christmas that year decided they would reunite the Bailey kids.
Hmm.
So they brought all the four Bailey kids together and we traveled from one Target store to another all over the United States.
Wow.
It was super cool and really fun and we just had a blast. And it was at that time that we were sitting behind a table and we were autographing. So there was a line of people. I discovered that it was huge. This movie was huge, and the effect that it had on people was amazing. They would tell me how it had affected their lives. They'd been on the bridge, it saved them. I mean, there was
Wow.
stories, and that's when I decided that I wanted to go on the road, and I wanted to share It's a Wonderful Life with all the people. So that's when I started making appearances and doing various autograph shows and Christmas shows all over the United States. So I've been doing that ever since
So,
1995.
so who came up with the idea of the Seneca Falls Yearly Festival? Was that you or a whole team of people?
What happened was and this is 22 years ago, I had a friend who worked on the Oprah show. He's a cameraman. And one day he just called Chris and I out of the blue sky and he said, "Hey," he said, "I'm in this town in Upper New York." They went to see the leaves, for fall. And he said, "This is it. This is the place. This is the place. I'm going to go talk to somebody." And he hung up. And I thought, what in the world? And he talked to the right person. He
Mhm.
talked to Mo Koff, and that was a wonderful, wonderful thing that he did because she went to the Historical Society. They wrapped this together to bring me in that year for Christmas. And I had always thought that it was Jimmy Stewart's hometown that Frank Capra kind of based it after.
Yeah.
But when I got into that town, it was snowing, it was quiet, and I walked in on that snowy street. It was magical. There
Wow.
was the bridge with the lights on it. all the little houses and the main street looked just like Bedford Falls. So then I searched more, after while I was there, and the railway station is kind of like it, same. And there are beautiful homes. There are Victorian houses all along one big street. And it was just, I knew then that that's where Frank Capra got his ideas for the design of It's a Wonderful Life,
Oh, that's cool.
of the town.
Wow. So it's like you stepped back in time in a way
Yeah,
and
yeah.
found
Oh
this
my
town.
gosh, I was so excited.
That
So
is cool.
that's, and so then the next year they decided to bring me back and have another one. At that time there was a Bailey's ice cream parlor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, because people thought, they kind of, the locals thought, well, yeah, this is could be he was here. And there was a barber there that swears that he cut his hair.
Did he cut whose hair?
Capra.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh my
Capra
gosh.
was really
So he
there.
was there checking
Yes,
out the town.
yes. And he's long gone now, but I went and talked to him. And I said, well, how did that all happen? He said, well, I was cutting his hair. And he said, we were just talking. And he said, we were both from Sicily. And he said, I remembered him because his name is Capra. My name is Bellissimo, Tony Bellissimo, and it means beautiful. Capra means goat. So he said, I always remember cutting the goat's hair.
Oh my gosh. Well, was it filmed? Was it shot in Seneca Falls?
No,
You
no,
know,
no, no.
they made up the
We
set.
think that Frank Capra was there and he got his inspiration for the design of the
I
town
see. I
from
see.
Seneca Falls.
Wow.
So it was, it was just a given that that would be a wonderful place to have the festival.
Yeah. And you've been doing
So
this for how many years now?
I think 22.
And you go now, there are others. You said, I know that I guess not everyone's still around from that time period. Isn't there
No, not
one
anymore.
other?
We've lost a lot of people. Yeah.
But they used to come. So is there another person from the
Uh,
film? The one of the,
Janie used to come, who played the piano,
hmm
and let's see, the Violet Bick, young Violet Bick, the young one.
yeah,
She came, and she is no longer with us. It's kind of sad as
yeah,
people, age, and especially Janie, because Janie it has Alzheimer's and she
right,
played piano. So that's a rough loss for us because she's
yeah.
still alive, but she can't do it anymore. So oh, there's the twins. Every time there's a baby in a movie, they're
hmm
twins because they
Oh,
can't be under the hot lights too long, so they have to
okay.
switch them out. And so for the scene where Mary is lifting a baby out of the playpen, well, there were
There were
two.
two.
And
Okay.
so those twins are still alive and they come every year. I mean, it's so cool.
Wonderful.
It's
So
just,
where would people find out? So is there going to be, I think the next one is a big one, isn't it? The next reunion?
yes, it's the 80th anniversary of the film, and that's this year.
And where would they find information? Is there a website people could look
Oh,
at?
sure. Yeah.
Tell us what
Seneca
that would be.
Falls. It's a Wonderful Life Festival.
Seneca Falls, It's a Wonderful Life
Just
Festival.
look that up and you'll find all kinds of information and pictures and you'll know all the activities that are going to go on. And believe me, there's so many that it takes practically a book to make up the program.
Wow, it sounds fantastic. Now I know you've also, I want to highlight some of the other things. You did a documentary film to find other angels among us that are who are alive on Earth. What tell us a little bit about that. What was that like?
Well,
How did you think of
I
it?
interviewed a lot of people who have made a difference in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And they're unspoken heroes in my book because people don't know what they've done. And they're they're in the background, but they have made such a difference to so many people. And you're one of them.
I appreciate. I'm so glad we got connected. It was a meant to be thing.
Absolutely, because you do make a difference. I mean,
Thank
there's so
you.
many people that do, but they're not made public. People really don't know. It's all behind the scenes, and they're the foundation, in my opinion, of the country. And
Mhm.
I'm just hoping that we'll still have a country.
That's why I think it's important for what you're doing, spreading positive stories so people can have more hope in a
Yes.
better future. Where can people find that information, Carolyn? Your documentary or in your, I know your podcast you said is not happening now, but it must
Well,
be
it's going to
archived.
be on for another year.
Oh, good. And where would they
But
find that?
and it's all about people who've made a difference, and
Right,
kind of called Angels Among Us. And that's kind of what I
right.
feel like a lot of people are. And it's very gratifying to me to know
Hmm.
what people really do and what they believe in. And it makes me feel like there's hope.
Yes, there is hope. There's always hope because there are people doing good in the world. So what's the link? I want people to know where to find you, Carolyn. Where's the link for your podcast where they can listen and tune
Uh,
in? Is Zuzu All Grown Up or is it under Wonderful Living
yes, it's
TV?
Zuzu All Grown Up.
Yeah, I remember. Okay. So we can check that out. Um,
Hold on,
you
hold on.
wait, don't leave, don't leave. Carolyn, we're
Here
very
we go.
informal here.
This is what it is.
Okay, let's see.
And Chris joins me.
Okay, now I don't see your face for some reason.
How'd that happen?
The computer just moved. There we go.
There. Am I
Okay.
better?
Yes, yes.
Oh, no, I'm still. Am I okay?
There you are. You're
Okay,
fine. You're perfect. Uh,
great.
so the other,
This is what it
let's
is.
see. Can you
Okay.
hold it up?
Yeah.
I'm not. Oh, there it is. It's a disc.
Well, it's a
It's a
coaster,
CD.
and it's Zuzu All Grown Up, and it's zuzunetwork.com.
That's it. ZuzuNetwork.com for people to
Hmm?
find. I
Yep.
wanted to also have you share another exciting piece of news. You've done so many wonderful things. You were invited to be participating in an upcoming film about Jimmy Stewart called Jimmy. Can you tell us about that?
Talk about an exciting life. I have had one, and it continues. I'm 85 years old,
Young,
and they
85
came.
years young. Yeah,
No, I got the wrinkles and the
that's
scars to
okay.
prove it. I've been around a long time. But uh, they came to me and they said, we're doing a story about Jimmy Stewart's days during the war.
Mm,
He was traumatized terribly during the war when he came home. He went on 20 missions. That's
mm,
a lot. And he'd seen a lot, and he was kind of in bad shape when he came back, and he didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't know where he wanted his life to go. He didn't know if he wanted to act, this, whatever. And so Frank Capra kind of came to him and dangled this carrot in front of him and called "It's a Wonderful Life," the movie.
mm-hmm.
And it gave him the opportunity to look back at his life and see what he had accomplished, but he also healed during the time that he made that film. And he really was a war hero.
Wow.
And just he was very, very, he was a pilot. And I've talked to several of the soldiers that worked under him
Yes.
back in the day. And they have nothing but, they always says wonderful things about him. He told me really great stories about how he was so patient and kind. And he was one in a million.
Carol, I read and it's publicized that when Jimmy Stewart breaks down crying at the bridge, that, he didn't want to live anymore. Those
No,
were real tears that he was
no, not there, not
not
there.
there. What
It
was
was
the
at the
spot?
bar.
Oh, at the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, at the
He's
bar. That's
praying to
right.
God and he starts crying, you know.
Right.
That's where he kind of fell apart. And
Because, yeah.
Capra shot that scene like 13 times, trying to get the same thing that was in the first one, the first take,
Hmm.
and it never happened. So he did a lot of fancy work with it to try to get it, you know, film work with it. That's the one scene, the first scene that he kept in the movie, the first take.
Right. Because he was accessing his real feelings of what it was like.
It was real. It was all real.
Yeah.
He was praying to God, and it just took him over, and it was magnificent scene. A lot of people don't know how real it really was, but it was real, and that was a blessing to get to see that, I think. And of course, Frank Capra recognized it, the
Sure.
director, and left it in there.
So what was it like with this new movie coming out? What was your role and what was it like
I just have
in
a cameo, but oh my
okay.
gosh, it was so fun. I went to Ireland to film it because the studios and the costs are quite a bit less over there than here. So they
Okay.
filmed it in Ireland. It doesn't take place in Ireland or anything, but they just filmed
Sure.
it. They have really nice studios. And I have a cameo, and I played. He was born in Indiana, Pennsylvania. Jimmy was. That was his hometown. And so after the war, he came back to the town, and the town gave him a celebration. So I happened to be the mayor's wife, and so I welcomed him. That's it.
Oh, that's great. So the film is about Jimmy Stewart's life and focusing
During
on
the war.
during the war.
Mhm.
When will
That's
this
the
film
focus.
come out? Will it come out soon? Do you know?
November the 6th is it's
Oh,
coming out on Armistice Day because it's about soldiers. It's about war
yeah.
and veterans, and all veterans are free to come see the movie. I mean, they're really making an effort to help the community that served in the war
Oh,
with him.
that's good. And it's called Jimmy, right? That's
Jimmy,
you all have to see that. I'm excited to see it. You know, you have gone through so many experiences in your life,
I
and
have.
I want you to share with us what are some tips that you could offer people who are out there who are maybe feeling down, anxious, unhappy at this time to live a wonderful life. And I'd love you also to say, I know I've already asked you to do this, I didn't want to say it, to say, you know, the last line in It's a
Oh,
Wonderful Life that gives people so much hope. And what would you recommend people do to live a wonderful life?
well, I didn't mention that my 18-year-old son um, committed suicide when, and that was a milestone in my life. And of course, the
Sorry.
film It's a Wonderful Life is about suicide.
Hmm.
And so I couldn't help but identify with that because there are so many people nowadays, it's a disease. I mean, there's so many people committing suicide, especially young people. And so I like to work with people who are in the business of trying to prevent suicide. And there are many organizations that are there for young people, old people, whoever that needs the help to get through emotional problems or whatever is going on in their lives that is so unpleasant that they would want to take their own lives. And it happens to a lot of people. So I've been trying to make a difference in a little way by doing appearances and about talking about the positive things in life. I mean, there's so many things in your life you don't even pay attention to. The sun comes up,
Hmm.
the moon at night. I mean, what a privilege to be able to look at those things and to have them a part of you. I've discovered that if you help people and you give of yourself, it's the greatest thing you can do to get well if you are suffering from emotional problems.
True.
Help people because when you do that, it helps you too. and you begin to heal. And I just can't say that enough. It's a very important thing to be out there and join organizations that make a difference, that help people. And I look at Habitat for Humanity. We used to do that every year at the festival. We had one house we would dedicate, and there's just so many ways that you can help people. And there's so many really deserving charities. And I just can't say it enough that people need to help their fellow man.
Right. Give of
That's,
to your of give to others, you're saying, and focus on helping others, and then you'll
yes,
feel better. I totally agree.
yes,
It'll make you feel.
that's
Can you say your last line for us? Can we hear you say it again from the film?
Daddy. Teacher says, every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. I should have a bell.
Yeah, that's right. I used to have one. It's not here. And right now we're all getting our wings, even hearing you speak, Carolyn, because you are
Well, I don't know
projecting
about
so
that.
much loving energy. Is there, we're going to conclude. I wanted to ask you, is there one last phrase you would like people to remember? Maybe that's it, what you just said. Any last message to help people know that they're making a difference by just being loving and kind and caring?
Yes, that's what it does. It makes you a better person, and you don't realize that, but it does. And it gives you the energy to help more people. And you should capture that and keep it in a bottle. Just kind of use it and always be able to make a difference if you can. And it's not about anything but loving. It's loving your fellow man. And
Yes.
doesn't matter color, religion, whatever. It's loving your fellow man. We're all on this planet for a reason. And I feel like it's to make it the best place that we can, where everyone can have a wonderful life.
I love everyone can have a wonderful life by
Mhm.
loving one another best we can. I love that. Thank you so much, Carolyn. You've
You're
made a
welcome.
difference to me just knowing you. And you're making a difference right now to everyone who's going to be listening to this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Lynn.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful day. And thank
Thank you.
you all for listening. Bye bye.